Hey friends. So I just had a wonderful call with a client and student, and we touched on something that actually is it's something that I'm sure I've talked about this before on this post. I'm virtually positive. I don't know when. It's probably been a little while, but it feels kind of appropriate for where I am right now too. And it actually, in a way, it also ties into what I was saying yesterday. Now that I think about it, because yesterday, if you caught my post yesterday, I was talking about how vacation, time away from our regular lives, gives us, one of the things it gives us is the space to observe what our mind does when it's not hooked into our habitual structure of life and the kind of architecture of our subconscious dilemma making device, right? That was an incredibly unclear sentence. I'm going to repeat that. When we're in our regular lives, one of the things that's happening is we are, to some degree, semi-consciously or completely unconsciously, creating dilemmas, creating problems for ourselves to solve. And I went into more detail on this in my post yesterday, but basically, the fact that there's this core of our consciousness that could, in 1 second, see through every single layer of our life, penetrate all the way to the very heart of ourselves, and highlight and illuminate every way in which we're not being fully transparent to ourselves, not being fully honest with ourselves. That's a big thing. And so in our normal lives, we've kind of structured, it's kind of like we've built a building for how much of that we allow into our lives. And one of the things that I do consistently, I mean, this is the work that I love to do more than anything else in the world, is look at that in my own life. How am I doing this? What are the problems I create in my own life? And how can I reduce that? Can I sort of take myself to a place where every day I become a little bit more transparent to myself, a little bit more real. There's a little less bullshit every day, ideally. I'm not saying it always works out this way, or that we never backslide. But that's the work I love to do, and then doing that with other people who are also interested in that, and staying in a place of reflecting to them what I see. We can really only do this work we have to be, we're most transparent to ourselves, but we can be really helpful to other people, because a lot of times we can see someone else's habits long before they do. Subconscious stuff, we're like actively looking away from it in ourselves, but somebody else can be like, oh, I call bullshit right there. Look, you see that? And you're like, yes, thank you. If this is a collaborative relationship, and if both people are actually committed to making progress in this area, that willingness to call each other out on awkward stuff, on the kind of like ways that we are duping ourselves, becomes a massive gift. It's not always a gift that feels comfy and yay, thank you so much, but on a deep level it is. On a deep level, we know that it's one of the highest forms of service you can pay, is to with love, bring someone into contact with their own awareness of what they're doing, and how to live even more connected to that. So anyway, I went into more of this yesterday, the ways that we sort of like deviate from that. And I was saying vacation is a wonderful time to observe that, because we take away that habitual sort of normal structure of our lives, and we are ostensibly in a place and time where we can do whatever we want. And guess what? Our mind kicks right back into gear. And now it's got to work overtime, because in our normal life, it's got like a whole thing going on. It's built a whole edifice of bullshit that we can rely on. It's reliable bullshit. On vacation, all of a sudden you give me all the time in the world, all the space in the world. If I want to flee from my inner core of awareness so that it doesn't pop the bubble of my life, I better get to work. I better come up with some problems so that I've got something to do to not have to see this, right? So what showed up today was something that it reminded me of something that I know I've spoken about this before, but when I was in theater school with my wife, we were working on a project long before we were together, but we were roommates, and we were working on a project. So we were, going to school in the daytimes and putting a lot of creative energy into our final project for the first year. And we'd come home and we'd have conversations about how it was going. And we're working with a bunch of other people, not just the two of us. So we were kind of like tracking some of the group dynamics, learning a bit about how this process works. And there was one night we were having a conversation, and we discovered, it really felt like we were exploring territory and like found a pot of gold, because we discovered that the thing that guided the group, the thing that takes a group of people reliably in a direction that's ultimately fruitful, was enthusiasm. Moments, sparks of either joy or wonder or emotionally being moved. When those moments would happen in the room with the whole group, they were like these galvanizing forces, and the key was to take them seriously, because a lot of times those moments would seem tangential to the core of what we were doing. We're over here doing our work, and then this joy bubbles up over here, and we all laugh at it and love it, and it's, oh, how fun. And then we come back to work. And like in that coming back to work, we've like just ignored the thing that is actually the kind of omega point. It's actually the guy, it's actually the thing. And so this evening when we were just talking about the process, and we sort of discovered, oh no, those are all the moments. Like every time we followed that, it has led us to something fruitful. Those have been the signposts that have been like, go this way, turn left, turn right, go straight for a while, right? Like those are the mile markers. Those are the navigation tools. And so the two of us felt like we had discovered a map to the terrain of creativity. And that showed up again today in this session with my client. And it was just another reminder of, again, because vacation. Here we are on vacation. There's a little more space for stuff to happen spontaneously. There's the capacity to steer and deviate from any kind of planned course of action a little more freely than in our in the course of a regular work week. You might see a lovely joy bubble bubbling up, but can you actually, does your life accommodate going that direction? Well, again, this is the work I love to do. More and more, I want my life to be able to be guided by those moments all the time. You know, I'm not saying I want the right to be fickle and like have shiny object syndrome, but I'm saying the extent to which I'm in alignment with my deepest self, with my actual kind of integrity and core purpose, is the degree to which those moments of enthusiasm, those moments of joy and kind of love and truth, reality, are on the path. They are the path. And when we're there, it gets easier. You know, we start to be able to say, oh, I know where I'm going. I might not be able to see. I don't have a Google Maps that tells me all, like, you know, next 3,000 miles of my journey, but I don't need that. I see where I'm going because I know what I'm following. I know how to read the road signs of creativity. I know how to read this map. And vacation is just a time when I think it's almost like a little practice session in doing that frequently, right? Ideally, we want to be doing this every day of our lives, but being freed from our habits, being freed again from the kind of architecture of our self-created restrictions, is a nice time to take the opportunity to really be on the lookout. What brings me joy today? Can I follow that? Do I just want to? Is there a book on the coffee table that looks interesting? Can I just read it for 2 hours or an hour? Can I take the time to let my heart lead me just a little more than usual and open that door into that part of ourselves? So that's what showed up today. Thanks for watching, folks. Much love. Appreciate you. Have a great day. I'll see you tomorrow.